accomplished more effectively by the private sector.
Program evaluation. So, I mean, look at the county. So we have the ice sheet. That's
Yes.
part of our recreation. The Golden Spike Center is. We have a gun range that, I mean, it could fall under recreation. It also falls under public safety. So it's, you know, it's used for training with all the different police departments, but it also is open to the public. So that could be both. And those are all very different. I mean, I can't go around the rink on ice skates, but my husband plays hockey once a week. So I value what happens there, and it takes taxpayer money to help operate that.
Because there's not enough public interest to keep it open.
Well, or it may be just very expensive to run, but it's providing quality of life, and it's always busy. I mean, it's busy from first thing in the morning till 1 a.m.
Right. But you have to ask yourself, if that were a private entity, would it survive?
Right. I know, and it's tricky and it's challenging. So we have the basic services that government has to provide, and then we have things like recreation that speak more to quality of life. And that would fall into it, as with the Golden Spike Center. And I don't think anyone would argue that that isn't absolutely wonderful. And I don't ride a horse, but
Yeah, you still
I think
imagine it's nice for people who do.
it's incredible. And taxpayer money goes to help operate all those entities.
Okay, if you don't mind relating to what you're saying, Jim, could you just clarify, didn't you say that the Golden Spike is self-sufficient? Or that was your goal, or, no, it never has
That's the
been?
goal. It's not, the Golden Spike, and let me, yeah, I will thank you.
Okay, quickly.
Thank you. The Golden Spike is funded by what's called a transient room tax. The tax that's generated from hotels, restaurants, and things like that. And so it's not part of the general fund per se, it's part of the transient room tax. And so that's the fast answer. I can
Okay,
keep going.
is that the only recreational entity that gets money from the Transient Tax Act?
Well, so like we have a new ski bus in the county.
Right.
That's funded by the transient room tax. The Convention and Visitors Bureau gets partial funding from that. The Gold Foundation does. And then in Ogden City, I mean, like we have golf courses, and those are always a hot button issue. And
Because
They are-
don't sustain
they
themselves.
do not sustain
but
themselves,
people want them to be open.
but the goal is that they are as self-sustaining as possible. Does that make, I mean, so,
Well, sure.
and that's the goal with all of those recreation entities, always, is to make them as self-sustaining as possible.
So what kind of incentive as a county commissioner can you imagine giving to these different entities to entice self-sufficiency?
I just think it always has to be an emphasis and a focus, and they have to be, you know, I mean, it has to be part of their yearly visioning, and it has to be part of the county's yearly visioning and 5-year plan, that these are as self-sustaining as possible.
Okay, so do the directors of each of these recreational entities come before the county commission every year and present their history from the last year? This is what we spent, this is how much we made, this is what we did.
They do, and they would be there with the you know, the recreation department director, but then they would speak to what their individual entities does and operates and their
Okay,
budget.
so they are accountable to you. Because, you know, in the state legislature, they have those meetings every year where all the entities come back to the legislator and they report what they've spent in the last year. You know, the appropriations meetings, so there's an appropriation process for the county as well.
It's the same, and it's the same in Ogden City. You know, the golf course is there, the director's there with the recreation director, and the Ogden City Airport is subsidized, and they do a yearly report. So yes, I mean, it's a huge focus for any government entity, that you want those to be as self-sustaining as possible.
Okay, but we were talking, you know, I think I asked, how would you decide, wow, this is too much, we're losing too much money on this program? You know, sure, we want it to be self-sustaining, sure, there is a subset of the population that really appreciates it, but it seems like there has to be some kind of bottom line to make that hard decision.
It's never that easy, because we haven't talked about like goals.